also Wodem Video Smart Dust. There are already several videos, or more than several, on YouTube about smart dust, but I didn't find any that actually show what they look like and some of the other important factors about smart dust that we should all, I believe, be aware of. That's the purpose of this video. First of all, let me show you what smart dust looks like. Right now, your bodies are, your body, your dog's body, grass in the ground, you name it, is saturated with billions of specks of smart dust. Most of it smaller than a grain of salt, too small to see without a microscope. I apologize for some scratching that may occur. I rarely move this camera, but the microphone I'm using is built into the camera, so I'll be careful, but you will hear some noises. If it's too annoying, you'd rather not hear the scratching, just go ahead and turn this video off. Look at this area here, for instance. This is my sock. You see those little white specks up and down? All that's not lint, that's smart dust. It will not come out in the wash. You've got to pick them off individually, very difficult to brush off. They have a clenching mechanism, but little tiny specks, those are the larger ones. They go all the way down to where it takes 99% of them, it takes a microscope to see them. These are the larger ones. As you can see, I just happened to pick this sock. I can go up, further up I'm wearing a pair of black pants. You can see other white specks. There's a lot of them. Though that is smart dust. That's what it looks like. And just as a quick thing, you notice these little hairs. You've heard the term Morgellons fibers, Morgellons hairs, they're also called. There are 3 or 4 versions. That is a version of the largest one. They're actually a polymer fiber, plastic. They're hollow. Everything you're looking at least began with life in them, a life form. They maybe didn't last very long, but they were alive at one time, including growing. I've taken some of these specks of smart dust and grown them to 6 inches long. But smart dust spraying the world with artifacts is nothing new. You go all the way back to crop spraying, cloud seeding, putting aluminum iodide in clouds to make it rain, and crop spraying with pesticides and so forth. So spraying from aircraft, spraying from even balloons, they were doing it in the 19th century. That's nothing new, but this is new. Beginning in about 1996, a very major, large, huge, I'll call it, program involving hundreds of companies. Companies like Microsoft, IBM, others have entire divisions devoted to artificial intelligence that includes microdust. Every once in a while, I don't have many of them, but they come in different varieties. If you take a look at this, you see the little red dots, and there's a couple of silver ones, so forth. Those, if you take a close look at them under a microscope, you will see they are perfectly cut octagons. Nature does not make perfect cuts on anything like that. I sent one to a friend who works at a major semiconductor company in California, and he analyzed it, came back, told me it's a silicon-based material. That's the same material used for the base of integrated circuits, transistors, so on and so forth. And then if you get really close, which I can't do without a different camera here, you'll see organic material on the silicon base. And he somehow or another thought that, my gosh, this thing is actually a living computer. Is it? I don't know. That's what he told me. How to activate it? I don't know. He didn't know either, although it appears everything you're looking at, all of these little white dots and so forth, they're all activated, turned on, used, monitored, controlled, everything with RFID principle, sending energy to it, causing it to turn on. It is without being powered by itself. I won't get into RFID. Just look it up yourself. You probably know what RFID is, but all of these are powered RFID, including the Morgellon fibers. All of this has to do with nano microelectronics, a million more steps beyond microelectronics, so small that they say you can put, well, if you go to let me put the camera back so this will stop scratching and stop annoying people that don't like scratching. Just point it off into the living room. Going to a search engine, the basic, it calls it, it sounds very, just really, nothing to worry about. It says I'm going to read it to you. A collection of microelectronic mechanical systems forming a simple computer in a container light enough to remain suspended in air, used mainly for information gathering in environments that are hostile to life. Well, what the heck does that mean? For one thing, what is hostile to life? Sitting on my sock is not hostile to life, nor the billions of them that have saturated my body. That's not hostile to life. I didn't ask that to be done, but just like many things, like putting fluoride in our water and so on and so forth, they didn't ask us first, they just went ahead and did it. It's in my opinion, a shortcut to immortality. That's really saying a lot, but I'm going to be putting some websites here for you to go look at that will show you exactly that. www.2045.com will just blow your mind away. You can go down the search engine and find things like, let's see, smart dust can be used to monitor human thought. Forbes had an article on that. Smart dust is coming. New camera the size of a grain of salt is coming. How smart dust could spy on your brain. CNN had an article, smart dust aims to monitor everything. Well, there's the catchword. To me, monitor also can mean control. We'd like to think everybody in the world has the best intentions for everyone else, but as we all know, that's not true. Control is quite possible, and I was involved in projects long ago that, and I guess I was one of the pioneers of ELF, extra low frequency, 0.1 hertz to 30 hertz. Nikola Tesla called that the frequency band of nature, which is true. Everything in nature has a specific oscillation frequency where it's synchronous. Frequency and modulation put together. There's an infinite number of combinations. Every blade of grass, so on and so forth. The Earth resonance is 7.85 hertz. Using ELF, sending ELF waves wirelessly, you can control, it says monitor. Well, change the word to control and see what you think about it then. You could control most anything. We're talking about the human thought, human brains. Go to a search engine, just put in Smart Dust, start reading articles and see what you think. Nobody asked me, gee, do you want to, live forever and immortality and become transhuman? Another word to look up. Do you want to be in the post-human age? Another word to look up. You want to become a cyborg? Another word to look up. Nobody asked me any of that. But right now, my body isn't, because I know how to get this stuff out of me, and I've been doing it for years, but you don't. I'm going to be doing, rather than on this video, doing another video telling you how to get all of, return your body to the way that it was in 1990, 100% human. Let me also show you, I'll take the camera one more time. These are some Smart Dust particles that I just picked up off the floor that happen to be like 1,000 times larger than a typical Smart Dust speck. Once in a while they clump together, they grow, so on and so forth. These are, in my area, the Middle West, they are everywhere. But they don't bother you unless you're the one in about every 5,000 people that happens to have a disease called Morgellons, that you first have to have Lyme disease for a long time, then you have to have a certain DNA and a long list. It's very difficult, but it can cause you a lot of difficulty with your skin, lesions, and bad things. And I think I've worked out ways to almost eliminate the symptoms of Morgellons, and I'm going to be posting a video on that. So if you have Morgellons, have hope. You're just about to hear how to get your Morgellons in check and not even know you have it. You'll have it, but it won't be stopping your world as it has for some people. It's just a nasty thing to have. In fact, it's been the reason for hundreds, if not thousands, of suicides. So this Smart Dust is part of an overall program to have eternal life, extended life, they call it. If you go to 2045.com, listen to the video speech interview of Ray Kurzweil, who's a friend of mine, or used to be, many years ago, called the father of artificial intelligence. It's, and if you've ever watched the movie The Matrix, well, this is The Matrix, except it's real. As turning, they even got a term for it. Let's see, transhuman artificial intelligence organic computers. Eventually people becoming machines. You'll look the same, feel the same, but your life will extend as long as you want it to extend. That's their plan. But the key thing is in all of this, whenever you read the word monitor, substitute control, because there are people in this world that have ultimate money, ultimate power. You hear the term New World Order and so forth. Whatever. I'm not going to get into semantics, but that one can want to control the world, control others, and it's already being done. I could point you to several dozen major news events, things that have occurred because people are saturated with these smart dust particles along with the Morgellon fibers, and EOF commands have done things that, well, it just goes beyond science fiction. And you're listening to what I'm saying and saying, the guy's totally crazy. Well, go ahead and look at other YouTube videos. Just put it in Smart Dust. Before you form your own opinion, watch the other videos on Smart Dust. Then go to a search engine, put in Smart Dust, and read some of those websites that come up. Your opinion of life in general, what's going on, particularly, for instance, Ray Kurzweil's article, speech on reality. He's calling almost that we're living in a hologram, and reality is only what we think it is. And there's an organization called Singularity Hub, and I'll put that in the notes as well, that you should really read and look at the various articles in that. My feeling is all of this going on, now that I understand it, I'm very techie. That's just, as those of you who subscribe to me know, that my world is all science. Now that I understand what's going on, I also believe that all of this, what man is doing is playing with fire. It's quickly getting out of hand. Let me just say that. I don't want to have someone else being able to have any control or even monitor what I'm doing, anything. Remote control by using ELF frequencies and Smart Dust and miniature computers and cameras that are smaller than a speck of grain and so forth. They say, look all that up. I'm not making anything up. It is right there. It's on YouTube. It is in the search engines. Don't take my word for it. Put the words in. Look it up for yourself. So you've heard the word Smart Dust. I couldn't find anywhere that just showed plain old Smart Dust. So I've now shown it to you. I did not show you a magnified version of it. I should have. If you magnify one of those little white specks, many times they end up looking like just a little tiny piece of crinkled paper. But they have intelligence. If they're alive, they have intelligence. Some of them, the ones that I can tell they're alive, if they're bright white, they're usually alive, and they can sense danger. I put my fingernail close to one, and the darn thing will hop about 3 or 4 inches. I put my fingernail next to it again, and it'll move again. And this is a speck of dust that is almost impossible to see. So we're talking about life. These are being manufactured by the trillions and being sprayed on mostly North and Central America and Europe by the quadrillions, and have been since 1996. And it's still going on. Yes, chemtrails are real, and yes, they're coming from chemtrails, and yes, they fall to the ground. They're barely heavier than the weight of air. So it takes a while. You know, it sits in the atmosphere and just blows around. Might blow around for months before it finally finds a spot. It works on principle of, you go back to Nikola Tesla, who I consider to be the smartest man who ever lived. He said the basic of nature is not, the basis is not magnetism or gravity. It is tension, which really, I had to think about that one for a long time. It's items, anything, particles, gases, so forth, not being where they want to be. If the universe is always expanding, that means the universe is not fully expanded to the point where it wants to be. And you take anything else that is in motion by itself, that is tension causing things to move. So that is, he said, is the true basis of nature. That gets into a different subject. As I say, I'll be doing several other videos. One of them is to how to make yourself totally human again and get rid of this darn stuff and opt out of becoming or being on the train to becoming a transhuman. Look up transhumanbus.com. It looks laughable, but they're all serious. These people think they're going to live forever, and they have chapters in most major cities. There's a lot going on that you're just not aware of, but smart dust is a very important part of this, and you should make yourself very aware of it. With that, I will end. This is W0TM signing off. Thank you for subscribing, and see you on the next video. Take care.